we're getting close to 2 years of a challenging experience that we never anticipated. This time of COVID has changed and altered lives irreparably. And it's interesting because I do tend to get on YouTube and listen to different spiritual leaders talk. And the channelers that I really, my go-to channelers are, of course, Esther Hicks, who channels a group of entities called Abraham. And I also listen to Sheila Gillette, who channels entities called Theo. And both of them are very interesting because both of them predicted this time of COVID coming, and they didn't label it exactly, but they shared with us that the next couple of years, back in 2019, they said it's going to be a time of absolute profound change. And humans are going to suddenly find that they are all interrelated more than ever, and that we are all an aspect of God. And it's interesting because when I talk to some of my friends and other people asking how they've been impacted, or they just volunteer the information, it's so interesting. It's been everything from great to small, and everybody has been challenged in so many different ways as this reset button has impacted us, demanding of us to slow down, demanding of us to really look at relationships, and challenging us to go deeper and deeper and deeper within, rather than just putting our energies out into the world every day. And I can tell you, I've been the master of that, always keeping myself busy, having multiple challenges, multitasking. And this was a really amazing and profound reset for me as I finally stopped, even more so, and looked within. And I really found parts of me that I have been struggling with. And I started thinking of what came to mind as I looked at myself and some of my friends who said they have really been altered, and their minds and their hearts have been altered during this time. And their relationships have changed. Some have ended. We see more and more divorces. We see other people building and working harder and harder on their relationships to bring that love in their life and to bring in the understanding, while trying to find themselves in this whole process. And I was thinking of that Japanese artwork that had come to mind. I know Coley's on the line, so she knows a bit of Japanese, so she's probably going to say, oof, she's kind of altered the wording, but I think it's called kintsugi or something like that, where they have the vases and the pottery that is broken. And it's kind of a symbol of our lives. It's the art of precious scars, as the Japanese call it. And they have these vases and bowls that have been damaged and shattered, and they put them back together very lovingly with melted silver or melted gold or some sort of precious metal, and creating the most amazing work of art. And I really saw in myself, and I watched people around me being transformed during this time. And sometimes it has been a really painful transformation. And many of my friends and even myself, I think we're still going through it. It's, when we look at ourselves suffering and broken and we call ourselves damaged, we ultimately, if we give ourselves time, and in this time of COVID, we have to give ourselves time to look within and to really work with those shattered little pieces of ourselves that we're always looking to find a place of love and comfort. And we're always looking for that bit of happiness that brings us a sense of contentment. And it's been a challenge. But in the end, as the Japanese look at this art, the vases and the bowls become more beautiful and more precious with their beautiful golden scars and the challenges that made it what it is. And I really see that for ourselves. I think we've had to kind of reset our brains and the way we think. And we have to redefine what's really important to us. It just is so easy, I think, to go out and do things. I'm a doer. I will go and shop and clean the house and plan the meals and do things and take care of my mother and call my daughter and not spend time with me. And I do struggle with meditation. I wish I could say I was really good at it. But I've also heard from Spirit saying, be kind unto yourself. Really don't give yourself such a hard time because you're not sitting in meditation for, half an hour a day or whatever. And I've really come to a place where I've learned that for me, going within is also talking to Spirit and having that conversation and really looking at myself and asking the questions. I think we're in this evolutionary time that really does ask us to look within. We've spent hundreds, if not thousands of years on this planet giving us rules and regulations of all the things that we ought to be. We have them from scriptures, and we're told over and over again that we're not good enough, that we need to be more. And not only in scriptures or in books, but we see it every day on the media. We look at those gorgeous models that are airbrushed away. We look at people who have the biggest houses and the biggest cars and traveling to the greatest places and taking the best mastermind classes there are. And we sit back, and at least I know for myself, sometimes I go, gee, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm not being enough. Maybe I need to be more. And then I start beating myself up. And I really have to sit back and call myself within and go within to realize that I am enough. And I start doing things that are positive. Like I do go onto YouTube and listen to these beautiful, more contemporary spiritual guidances, or I don't want to call them leaders, but they're people who have really spent time looking within. I was listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a chiropractor who went on to study neuroscience and neuroplasticity and unlocking the full potential of the brain. And he was a man that had been back, I think in 1986, he had been running a triathlon and was run over by an SUV. And they cracked, and his spine had many cracks to it, and the doctors were going to put him through hours of surgery. And it was going to be painful. And he stopped and he said, no, I am not going to do this. I'm going to heal myself. And ultimately, through the power of thought, he did heal himself. And he developed many books and lectures focusing on the art of meditation and positive thinking. And I almost want to say he brought the law of attraction up to a whole different level. And I think with that, he told me something on one of his YouTube videos that was just very fascinating. When you are looking for something from yourself and you're looking for that peace and that contentment, and you end up looking to try to find it from others, write down on the list of all the things that you want from a partner, from a spouse, from a friend, whatever it is, even if it's your children, write down what you want. And after you've written this list, stop and look at that list and ask of yourself. Can you give this for that which you're looking from others? And the moment that you stop and you really look at yourself to say, can I be this for other people? That will start to unlock the law of attraction and things coming to you, because you're creating the energy, you're creating the frequency. You're creating something that's so much more than yourself for your brain to take in, to say, you are this, and this is what you want from the world. So he's a very interesting man. I'm definitely encouraging you to just get on YouTube and take a look at him. But I also realized as I listened to another channeler, um, Theo, who by Sheila Gillette, who I'd mentioned earlier, Theo also had said, never before have humans been ready to recognize their own divine essence. And if you could see, as Theo sees you, this group of entities in your divine essence, you wouldn't question yourself. But we do every day, because we do listen to others thinking we're just not good enough, that we need to be more than who we think we are. And we can channel and we can learn from that divine essence within ourselves. I think part of it is just stopping and listening. So many times our brains are in this chatter of talking and saying all the things that we need and we want, and we don't stop and listen. So we may even ask the questions, but we don't stop and listen. And that's where, and when I say we, I guess maybe I'm projecting a little, but I know that even myself, when I stop and listen, I hear the answers so often. And I've often said this in other talks, that I really believe that God is a light and a frequency of love, and we are aspects of God. I know many of our religions try to humble us and tell us we are less than that, but I really do believe that we are sparks of that light, of that source. And when we tap into that and we believe that, we can tap into this knowledge and this wisdom that is there, when we can trust our higher selves and we can trust that small voice in our head that is positive and kind and loving. And if we expect it, it will come. And I think of the times when I've taken the mediumships classes with Bill Collar and Sharon, and I think half of the class, maybe not half, or maybe a third of it, was teaching us to trust in the voices, in the senses, in the feelings that we were getting from Spirit as Spirit spoke to us. And when I say spoke, it could come through so many different channels, whether you were clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant. It would come in all these different ways. And I remember them saying, trust it, just let go and trust it. And so I encourage you, even if you haven't taken any mediumship classes, to just stop and trust the voices that come into your head. And when it's positive and when it's kind and when it's loving, expect it to come, and it will guide you in this time. And it'll help you to look within and really say, I am good, I am kind, I am love, I am positive. Because so many times we sit there and we beat ourselves up. I can tell you this last week was a real challenging week for me because it's Christmas and I'm running around doing all the errands, trying to get my house clean, putting up the tree, making the phone calls, checking in on other people, doing the shopping. And I was so comfortable with myself because my mom is 94. She will be 94 at Christmas. And she has nurses' aides that help take care of her. And I'm so blessed. My family is very blessed to have this most beautiful group of women in her life that are honest and trusting and kind and loving and really take excellent care of her. And so I wanted to make this Christmas special for them. So I put together a package of Christmas cards and writing something really special for each of them and what I thought of them and how blessed we are. And then I put in some money. Never send money through the mail. I'll give you that one, which of course you probably all know better than me, but I thought, oh, let me make it easy for them. I ended up getting gift cards from Starbucks and a few other places to put that in with them. And off this package went to the lead nurse that takes care of my mother, and I asked her to please let me know when it gets there. So sure enough, 3, 4 days later, she calls me and she said, Kim, we got the package, but there's nothing inside. And after I picked myself up off the floor, I went, oh my goodness. So I probably spent about 5 minutes with the negative thoughts and gnashing of teeth. And then I stopped and I heard this voice in my head saying, this is giving you a chance to help get the help from others. Call your brother, call the aides, go and do this, do that. And I started getting instructions and I just trusted it. And I stopped and it said, you can do this with love. And you can pray for the people who get the envelopes, that they will use it for their highest good. And so that's what I did. And so I ended up yesterday rushing around, but in a good way, in a very positive, loving way, pulling back the things I had to do, go and get new gift cards. And I sent out the envelopes again. And I thought, what an experience, because instead of me doing it alone, the universe wanted me to trust pulling everybody in to help me, realizing that we all do this together. So it was such a lesson for me to stop and pull back and just say, you know what? Christmas is not about me alone. It's about the positive love from my heart and pulling everybody in with me. So it would have been very easy for me to spend many hours not being kind to myself, thinking I could have done something better and altered this and done it a different way. But I stopped and I listened to Spirit. And so I encourage you this holiday season to really spend time with yourself and really look within. They say if you find yourself a bit irritated and overwhelmed, it's a sign that you're spending less time with God and more time in the world. And I think spending time with God is spending time with yourself. It's looking within. So I'm going to just leave you very briefly with, there was this really sweet thing that I found that it said the 10 benefits of spending time alone. And if I can encourage you just to spend a few moments with yourself, talk to Spirit, expect it to talk back, they will guide you. So the 10 benefits of spending time alone: 1, it clears your mind. 2, it improves your creativity. 3, it allows you to explore your life. 4, it resets your priorities. 5, it improves your relationships. 6, it lets you slow down. 7, you become more focused. And 8, you reconnect with yourself. And I think one of the best gifts is 9, you create and you gain self-confidence. And 10, you become more independent. And if you can become more independent with love and work with each other, it's a gift that not only you'll give to yourself, but it'll be a gift that you'll give to others. So I wish you all a really happy holiday. Whether you're alone or you're with others, I wish you the blessings of the universe, and especially if you're alone, you're not alone. Keep talking to Spirit and you will start hearing more and more guidance coming to you. And I wish you all the best. In love. Namaste.